I'm Kay Haas from Kansas, a state in which I believe we are doing a great job in implementing the core. And you will see a number of resources that are going to pop up from ksde.org. I have been trained in the state of Kansas through a number of wonderful workshops where I now am able to go out and work with schools and teachers. And I'm going to visit about the core, the basics of text complexity. Basically, I'm going to talk about the role of text complexity in the Common Core, what the components are. Again, I'm going to give you some resources from Kansas, some reminders of good instructional strategies that must accompany the core, and also possibly some misconceptions. The text complexity is the foundation of all the reading standards, and Standard 10 is laced throughout all the grade levels, and how that plays out throughout the grade level bands is, for example, here from 6 through 8, we see at the end of the year students are expected to achieve a certain level of reading. But at the beginning year of the band, it's with scaffolding as needed. And at the end of the band, we are hoping that they will read independently. But what it doesn't mean is we give students texts that cause them to read with a frustration level. We want to help them along the way, but we do want them to struggle, because when they do hit college level, they're going to struggle with those texts. And we want the high flyers to continue to read well beyond. Now, there are ways to do this, and I don't think the best way is simply to look at Appendix B in the Common Core Standards at the list of what's there. Instead, we want to work collaboratively, using our own expertise with other teachers to decide those texts. We want to look at the components, and I'm showing two graphics here because I've also seen this triangularization of the components to be a stair-stepping mode. But first we want to look at the quantitative measures. And computer software can do this through lexiles and some other pieces, the length of the word, the frequency of the word in our language, the difficulty level. And in Kansas, we do have this document, which isn't unique to Kansas, but it takes the lexile bands and compares to the bands that are common with accelerated reader in order for us to see where books would fall. So for example, if we look at To Kill a Mockingbird and go to lexile.com, type in the text, we're going to see To Kill a Mockingbird falls in a grade 4 to 5 band. And that's pretty much honored at the accelerated reader. And we know that's not right, so we have to look at the second piece, the qualitative measures. And this is where our teacher expertise falls in. You know, what are the levels of meaning? Is it a linear structure? Are there conventions that we need to consider, like irony and other things? And in Kansas, we do have some rubrics that guide the teachers through that. We have a rubric for literary texts and for informational texts so that we can go beyond that quantitative piece to make decisions. And as we look at To Kill a Mockingbird and how it falls out on these rubrics, we find that it has a much higher level than just what a lexile score would say, because it's not linear. It has multiple plot lines. It has irony. It has symbolism. And the third piece we want to look at, which is also so important, is reader and task. And I'm going to address the task piece first. What are we going to ask students to do with these works? Are they going to do a diorama? Or are they going to write a rhetorical essay? And with motivation, we know that the key piece to motivation is the instruction that we give our students. Our activities we ask them to do relevant? Do they allow for collaboration? And as we've heard in other presentations, do they allow for choice? This is the first page of a second two-page guide that we have in Kansas, which guides teachers through those questions about how ready students are for these materials. Do they have the proper background knowledge? And again, what are our expectations instructionally for them? And as we look at To Kill a Mockingbird, the decision is, yes, it is appropriate for grades 9 and 10, where we most commonly see it. So we wouldn't give To Kill a Mockingbird to a 4th grader or a 5th grader. If we were to compare to the Appendix B in the Common Core Standards, yes, there's a reaffirmation that To Kill a Mockingbird is in that grade level band. However, as we look at some of these other pieces ranging from a young adult novel to a classic, we might not agree that with our students, they would fall in that same band. This is another resource on the Kansas website where teachers can play out their decision making and look through those. There are also some pieces on the Kansas website that play that out with a separate piece and Hunger Games. But I think most importantly, we need to honor the fact that our students understand text complexity. And if we give them works that they're interested in reading, then they will read those regardless of how hard they are for them.